Welcome to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. Now, this month we are celebrating women all over the world. And my guest today, I am so humbled and honored to tell her story. She inspires me. She lost her limbs when she was only 2 years old, but she is a champion in the world of sports. Coming up shortly. Asiya Sururu Mohamed is a para rower and tennis player despite being a double amputee. At just 2 years old, Asiya lost both legs and several fingers in a tragic train accident. At 17, she competed in her first international sporting event, a wheelchair marathon. Since then, Mohammed has gone on to accomplish amazing physical feats on the track, on the tennis court, and now on water. She made her maiden Paralympic appearance during the 2020 Summer Paralympics and is the first Kenyan female rower to complete at the Paralympics. Thank you so much, Asiya Mohamed, for joining us and for allowing us to tell your story. Your story is so inspiring. Let me start with your childhood, growing up at the coast. How was it?
I grew up in Ganjoni, Mombasa.
Yes.
And I come from a humble background. It was nice, not that bad. It was humble, but we get to eat, play, like any other child. Yeah.
I was reading about you, and there's a tragic story that happened when you were growing up. Your auntie sent you. Tell us about that day and what happened.
So I don't know the specific month, but it was 1994.
How old were you then?
I was 2 years old.
Yes.
By then, and I used to eat to my grandmother's food kiosk. That is hotel which is separated from our home by these 7-track railway lines.
Yes.
So I used to go from home, cross the railway lines, go and eat,
Yes.
and then come back. By that particular day, I went as usual, have my lunch. So as I was going back, I could see this train coming from afar, and I thought like, it was too far, I could go on. You know, I was 2 years by then.
Yes.
So I crossed railway line 1, and then 2, and then 3. And then I was like, wow, it's really coming.
Yes.
So I started running
Yes.
to lane 4 and 5, but then I stuck. I was running, but I was not moving, and I was just there.
Yes.
Frozen in one place, and
Frozen because of fear or?
I don't know.
Yes.
So apparently I just stuck there, frozen in one place.
Yes.
And then this train, a long one, came.
And you're just watching it come.
I just watching it come, and then just like that, I fall on top of those lanes, and then it crossed over my legs. You know, my 2-year-old, I thought like I could rescue my legs using my hands. That's when I lost my three fingers.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when the train has finally gone, I've lost both my legs and 3 fingers. And that was the time when my father was coming from work, and he got to see all of it, and he was just there frozen like me, and then he suffered a stroke. So the ambulance that took me to the hospital also took my father. And he died the same day because he was a Muslim, and he was buried the same day while I was still in the hospital. So nyumbani, we say it is what? Double tragedy, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
So I stay in hospital like more than a year. And then my family used to come and visit me. I was just in their Mombasa hospital, and they used to come visit me, especially my grandmother.
Yes.
And it was during that time that also my mother died. I think my mother died from the broken heart, you know. All of those stuff, I think she couldn't take it anymore, and then she died. So at 8 years, I was officially a disabled and an orphan at the same time. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And now growing up without your parents, how was your mind at such a young age? How are you digesting all that?
So it wasn't hard as people think, because actually my family were my support system, like the really strong backbone of me. And they called me half woman at home.
Yes.
I was this young, half girl, and I used to play around. So when both my parents died, and I was the only child,
yes.
so my auntie became my official guardian. And I was incorporated to her family.
Yes.
And it was nice.
Yes.
They gave
At
me
what age did you move to her family?
exactly at 8.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was so nice.
Yes.
They gave me everything that I want. They took me to school, absolutely everything. I had the life of any other child could have.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And at 8 years old, you go to school. Did you feel like you can't play like the others, and maybe there are things that you couldn't do like the others?
So fortunately for me, I went to Portray Special School.
Yes.
So it was for the physical disabled. So we were like in similar situations. If I'm half, someone will be like paralyzed in one hand.
Yes.
Others will have one leg. So we won't laugh we will laugh at each other.
Yes.
Sometimes you think you are better than them. Sometimes you think, I'm just worse.
Yes.
They're better than me.
Yes.
And it was so cool. It kind of boosts one's self-esteem.
And when you're outside school in the neighborhood where there are other normal children?
So that's when the problem comes. People, some children didn't want to play with me, my fellow children.
Yes.
I was just at home looking at them while they're playing, and I was like, I want to play that.
Yes.
But when I go closer, they're like, utasubua, tutakubeba everywhere. No, just
Yes.
But mimi ni nani? I will go everywhere where they are.
Yes.
If anywhere around the whole of Ganjona, I'll be with them.
Yes.
Until they kind of accepted who I am, and they're like, you can now come and play.
Yes.
And they were so used to me to a point that when I don't show up, they'll come to our house and like, where is Asiya? Where is Asiya? And my family were like, umetengeza group yako. Yeah.
I think that's one thing I like about you. You're one of the people who I find it very comfortable to talk about disability, because you've accepted it. So it makes it even easier for me to accept it and be comfortable to have that conversation with you. But growing up, did you notice that sometimes people would, even grown-ups, look at you differently and talk to you differently, and they're uncomfortable around you?
Yeah. Even now when I'm grown up, they'll still look at me. That's a common thing to every disabled person. People get to be looked at, and someone will just stand and look at you like you're some sort of an alien coming from planet Mars. It's like you're having a different head, or you have a second hand, and they will just stand and watch.
Is it, and how do you overcome it? Is it something that with time you get used to it, or are there some good days and some bad days?
There are some good days, there are some bad days, but it's just simple. Once you have accepted yourself, love and appreciation comes automatically. Even when someone looks at you like you will be exploding anytime soon, it's nothing.
Yes.
But it's not to all of us who are living with disability. You know, some can't take it. I have like my friend who is also disabled. She just can't take it. She will look at you and say, nitakupiga. Usiniangalie tena. But at the same time, like, utampiga wapi? It's just like, achie. So it's like, once you have appreciated yourself, accept just the way you are, even when the whole world look at you, are like, I'm contented, that's the way I am.
Yeah. And how did you come to the place where you've accepted yourself as you are?
So that's when I was 18 years. You know, adolescents come with different stuff. Yes. Especially when you are a disabled person. So to me, it really hits me hard. You know, I used to be like, I want to wear heels. And when I see women with nice legs wearing bad shoes, I'll be like, sasa umevaa nini? I would be like, I can do better. Yes. And I was like, I want to be liked with boys who have 2 legs. Yes. You know, that homo stuff. Yes. I was terrible at my adolescence. But it is on my adolescence stage, that's when I came to appreciate it and accept just the way I am. Yes. I was like, oh, I will not wake up and see these legs. I just have to move on and accept just the way I am. Yes. I love my school home. And talking about boys, are you dating? No. Okay. Yeah. And have you had like past relationships, and sometimes does your disability come up in your relationships? Yeah, I had. And it is true, sometimes disability come up. Yes. But if you get to know yourself, you know your limits, you know where you're going, you've got your objectives, that won't be a problem. Yes. You know, I hadn't even thought about it, wearing heels and so on, things that sometimes we take for granted. But I like the way you've accepted yourself, and now you're even in sports. We're going to talk about tennis, how you got into tennis. We're going to also talk about rowing just after the break. You do not want to miss the inspiring story. She's been able to change her story from tragedy to triumph, and we'll find out how exactly did she get into sports, coming up after this. I capsized, and just like that, my head was inside the water and the boat was on top of me. People thought huyu atarudi. Welcome back. Before the break, I was talking to Asiya Mohamed, who has shared a story about how she lost her limbs at only age 2, and on the same day lost her dad. A few years later, lost her mother. But this is not a pity party story. If anything, her story has inspired me. And even as she was telling it, your strength, your courage kept me going. I thought I was going to lose it somewhere there. But now let's talk about the other side of you, sports. Tennis and rowing. How did you get into sports? So I started sports while I was in primary. Yes. As I said before, I schooled in Portray School for the Physically Handicapped. What they did there, they emphasize on PE, you know, and we were, all of the students with the physical, we were to play any game, the indoor, the outdoors, every game. One should like involve himself with 2 or 3 games. So that's where I started playing games. And then while I was in high school, I went to Joytown Secondary School, also for the physically disabled in Thika. Yes. And I also do games. Mostly the Standard Chartered marathons. I used to participate them. I won like 5 times. Yes. And from there, I joined the sitting volleyballs, lots of games. But as years go by, I settled with tennis and rowing. So in 2017, that's when I started professional tennis. I was in Shanzo Teachers Training College when I was introduced to tennis by Lawrence Karanja, our wheelchair tennis coach, and he said, I think you've got potential. I see you already have movement with the wheelchair. You just have to have the skills and play lots of matches. We see where you can go. That's when I started in 2017, professional tennis. So when we talk about rowing, I was on tennis competitions when I got a call. That was in 2018. Would you come and see if this game fits you? And I said, why not? So 2018 December, I did my rowing. The first time that I was on a boat, I capsized, and just like that, my head was inside the water and the boat was on top of me. And just like that, I flipped the boat on top of it, and I was sitting on top of that boat. So just that first day, people thought huyu atarudi. But mimi nani? Niliregea the same day. I practice, and people are like, that's it, you're inatakikana. So what you need to learn how to swim and then row. So in 2019 May, I got the chance to go to Milan to practice rowing because I was still a newcomer, and a 2 weeks practice. And that same month I did my first race, rowing race.
That one, yes.
Yeah, so in rowing we've got heats like in races. So on my first heat, I was the last one. On the second heat, I was the second last. So on the actual day of the rowing, of the race, I was third last. So it was very encouraging.
There was improvement.
Yeah, that improvement, 1 point at a time, and the coaches were like, you seem to be improving. This is good. There is qualifiers for Olympics in Tunisia. I think you should go there. Maybe you can have a chance there for the Paralympics in 2020. And I was like, why not? I can go. So when the time came for us to go to Tunisia for the qualifiers, there was no money. I'm not the only rower in Kenya, so we are so many rowers, especially para rowers, but there was no money. So like I said, my family is my support system. And I told them that hakuna pesa, but I want to go to these qualifiers. And they were like, si ati unaenda Europe, you are just here in Africa. Tunisia too. We can do the WhatsApp chat, WhatsApp group, and contribute there. We see. So on the third day of the contribution, we had more than enough. So I went to the qualifiers, and just like that, I became #1 in the race, the qualifiers, and they were only taking one person to the Tokyo Paralympics. And I was like, kwani ni bahati ama ni nini? Just like that. And I didn't know how to row well. I was meandering all over the water. So, but I became #1. And people like, you should do more practice, you've got potential. But I've been told in lots of games, either it's an individual game or a team event, people are like, you fit here.
I've noticed when I started asking you about sports, you leaned closer to me and your eyes
Gloria, I know. I've been told that, so.
Yes, you're passionate about sports. And between the two, rowing and tennis, which one do you like more?
While I'm in those waters, alone, you know, on that boat, rowing, it just gives me that pace. I have that connection with the boat and the waters, and I'm just like, this is it. I feel like I'm hearing everything. There's that silence. You feel even your heartbeat. You think like you can count your hairs. Yeah, that's what rowing feels like. And I kind of told my coach that I want to play this game. I feel it kind of, I'm into it. And the coaches were like, why not?
Yeah. And every time when you get into a race, do you feel like, I'm going to win this one?
No. I'm never too sure. And I'm never too sure of anything, and I usually accept failures because I've failed in so many areas, not only in sports. I've lost so many matches in tennis. I've lost so many races even in standard. I'm used to failing. So when I go to any race or play any match, I'm just like, I'm going to give it my all. I
like that. Could I ask you, I'd like the viewers to see, if you don't mind, if you could just show us your legs.
You could have told me so. I could have come with a mini skirt, maybe.
But you can still show us. Just show us.
Yeah. Why not? So these are my plastic legs. But I'm going to upgrade them.
Yes.
Soon. I'm currently learning how to walk without crutches at Autobox Kenya.
Yes.
So.
And how long does that take?
I don't know. It depends on the individual.
Yes.
I'm telling you, walking is very hard.
Yeah.
Walking is very hard. Respect to all the babies who are starting walking.
Yes.
You know, it's really hard. I've not even lifted a feet since the day I've been trained how to walk there at Autobox. When I put on those advanced legs, I'm just stuck there like statue. And the orthopedicians are like, come on, move just a leg, just come on. But I'm still stuck there like.
I recently saw a Gazette notice about you, about an appointment. Tell us about it.
So, Asiya Mohamed appointed me to be a sub-board member at the Kenya Sports Academy. And it was nice. I felt like honored and recognized.
Yes. Congratulations on that. How are you planning to use this appointment or this new position?
I will just do what I wanted when I am a player, things that I wanted to do, to get, and then actually implement them. I will use my challenges that I face. You know, when I started rowing, there were no boats. There were fewer boats. I'm very old because rowing was here since 2005. 2005. They're still using the same boats since 2005. There is no that club that can hold a para rowing foundation here in Kenya. But if we have that systematic, you know, flow, when someone wants to be a rower, he or she doesn't have to go to go anywhere or outside the country.
Yes.
You know, it's simple. We just have to have our own camp. We organize our own races. We train our own personnels.
And it's been difficult to get a hold of you. You're in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get you for the last 2 months. Tell us about that. Why have you been around the country?
So 2020, during the pandemic, people were not playing games. Things were so on hold.
Yes.
So I was just at home doing my stretch-ups, all that stuff, when I saw this advert that they want people with disability to sign in for data entry. So I signed up, and I actually got a job with Stepwise. So I went to work as a data clerk in Mombasa Law Courts. So from there, I told them that I'm a professional athlete, so I won't continue with that data entry. I just want to have something to do during the pandemic. And they're like, it's okay, want to keep you. So I did as their sales representative. And then they're like, nah, we want you as a brand ambassador. And I'm like, why not?
Yes.
So currently I'm their brand ambassador. Stepwise, yeah.
Thank you so much, Asiya, for joining us today. Giving up is never an option. And remember, in life, whatever challenge you face, learn how to flip it. you can turn tragedy into triumph. See you next time.